All right, and welcome back to Get Outside St. Tammany. My name is Will Afton, and I work with the LSU Ag Center here in St. Tammany Parish. I'm the county extension agent, and I have a background in horticulture, so I'm here to answer all your gardening questions. And I thought this month might be a great time to talk about some very popular landscape plants that a lot of people are purchasing at local nurseries and planting out in their garden during the month of May. And that's the hydrangea. Hydrangea is probably one of the most popular flowering shrubs that we plant in our gardens, and Mother's Day weekend tends to be there when most nurseries sell the most of them. So I thought it'd be most appropriate just to kind of highlight this particular genus of plants. We all know hydrangeas are kind of the staple of the southern garden. Big extravagant flowers like what we see here. Kind of large growing shrubs, great for the back of flower beds to add some good dimension. They are deciduous though, so come towards the end of fall and winter time, they will lose all of their leaves and just kind of look like sticks there. But come spring, they leaf back out and come back to life, so to speak. But basically, there's kind of three main species of hydrangea that we use in the landscape here in South Louisiana. The most common would be like Hydrangea macrophylla. Kind of like, I have an example here. This is one of the endless summer hydrangeas. This one's called Summer Crush. This is a patented variety, as you notice, with the blue endless summer pod and the nice the graphic hang tag here. Definitely, there's a lot more than this. This one, this is just one of the newer ones on the market. It's got this nice pink color. We also have this one to the left here. This one is what we call oak leaf hydrangea. And if you can see here, if we look at a leaf, you can really see where it gets that name, oak leaf hydrangea. It's got the nice lobed leaf, very similar to like a white oak or a red oak. Different species, but related. They're in the same genus, so it's kind of, let's call them brother and sister. I don't have an example here, but there's a third species that's becoming very, very popular, and that's Hydrangea paniculata. These two hydrangeas and most of the other ones that we grow on the landscape, they require some shade, so we can't put them in all-day sun. Need to find an area that, it can get morning sun, but it needs some shade, or it needs filtered light in the afternoon to really thrive. Oak leaf hydrangea and this Hydrangea macrophylla, they will burn up in afternoon sun. However, Hydrangea paniculata can actually tolerate full sun and actually does a little bit better in full sun. A very common paniculata cultivar is the limelight hydrangea. A little lighter in color, but same type of flower, but those you can plant out in a more exposed flower bed with direct sun. So anyway, once you have your plant picked out, and then we have a good location to plant this plant, just like any other shrub or even trees for that matter, you got to make sure you plant it properly. So read the information about each plant, learn how wide they get, use that to determine how far apart to space them. Go ahead and lay them out in the bed, kind of space them how you want them, and you come back. You can come dig a hole, the side, to put the root ball in. We actually recommend to dig the hole 2 to 3 times as wide as the pot that plant is in. That encourages some good lateral root development, and you can get an established plant a lot quicker that way. Also, we're going to dig it a little bit shallower than this pot. We want the top of this root ball to sit maybe an inch or 2 above the soil grade. Bad things happen when plants get planted too low, so make sure to avoid that by digging the proper depth from the get-go. Use all that backfill that came out of the hole to replant with these plants and any other plant that you plant in the landscape. Try to stay away from excavating soil and filling with a potting soil. Creates a pot in the ground type environment, and it creates an issue with water drainage. But anyway, once you get these things planted, we go through and we water them in to kind of help settle some of that soil, and then you can put some mulch, around the root zone to help with weeds, help conserve water during those first couple of months. When it comes to mulches, you can use any mulches, but here in St. Tammany Parish, we have a multitude of pine straw. A lot of pine trees that grow here, a lot of forestry land with pine, so pine makes a great mulch to use here. Throughout the growing season, hydrangeas really don't have many problems. If we go through a lot of high, heat and humidity, sometimes snails and slugs can be an issue. Snail and slug damage shows up as holes in the leaf. Whereas a caterpillar might feed from the outside in and consume leaf tissue, snails and slugs will typically feed from the inside out. So we start to see these holes or whatnot. Look for the snail or slug if you have that issue there. And then choose an appropriate pesticide. Most of your common insecticides will not control snails and slugs, so you'll actually have to look for a snail slug bait to control them. So if you start to see holes in the leaf, inspect for snails, and if so, choose the appropriate pesticide. The only other issue I have with hydrangeas are during heat and humidity, during the summer months, they're very susceptible to a leaf spot. It's a fungal issue. Spots develop on the leaf. As that disease progresses, it'll move its way up. Eventually, leaves will fall off a little prematurely, and of course, cause the plant stress, cause it to look bad. The best way to kind of fight fungal diseases amongst any plants is good sanitation. So go in there and pick up those leaves, bag them up, throw them out with the trash. That's in an effort to reduce the amount of spores that could reinfect that plant later on. So with good sanitation and then protection from one of our common garden fungicides, you can keep leaf spot to a bare minimum on these plants. So remember, when using any kind of pesticide, you want to read and follow those label instructions so that you're putting it out at the right rate, you're applying it properly, and you're wearing your, the proper protective equipment. But anyway, look, hydrangeas, very easy plants to grow, work well in the South. That's why you see them all over the South. So for any more questions on hydrangeas in general, or if you have another plant that you're interested in growing and want to know how it works in Louisiana, contact us at the LSU Ag Center. Our website is www.lsuagcenter.com, and then locally here, the St. Tammany Extension Office phone number is 985-875-2635.